The transport ship landed slowly on the alien world, looked through the small window and saw a planet unlike anything he had ever seen before. The sky was purple, the trees were silver, everything looked like a dream. He was just a soldier, a guard, nothing special. The military had chosen him for this mission because he was calm and followed orders well. They needed someone to protect the human ambassador during talks with the Empire. Did not ask questions. He simply packed his bag and got on the ship. Now he was here, on a world far from Earth, far from everything he knew. The other soldiers on the ship were talking quietly. They were nervous, they were powerful. Their empire controlled hundreds of planets. Humans had only just started traveling through space. They were small compared to but they wanted peace. They wanted trade. They wanted to prove that humans could be trusted. Stood up and checked his uniform. It was clean and neat. His boots were polished. He carried no weapon. Weapons were not allowed in the palace. This was a sign of trust. The ship door opened. Warm air rushed inside. It smelled sweet like flowers after rain. Stepped out first. His job was to walk ahead of the ambassador and check for danger. There was no danger, only beauty. The palace stood before them like a mountain made of crystal. It was white and blue and gold. Light passed through its walls and created rainbows on the ground. Had never seen anything so wonderful in his life. Guards waited for them at the entrance. They were tall, much taller than humans. Their skin was pale blue, almost like ice. Their eyes were large and dark, like deep pools of water. They had no hair. Instead, thin silver lines ran across their heads like rivers on a map. They looked at the other humans with curiosity. Perhaps they had never seen humans before, or perhaps they were just careful. One of the guards spoke. His voice was soft but clear. "Welcome to the Palace of Stars. Queen waits for you in the throne room. Please follow us." Walked behind the ambassador. The other human guards walked beside him. Their footsteps echoed in the long hallway. The floor was smooth like glass. The walls showed pictures of stars and planets and great battles from long ago. Kept his eyes forward. He did not want to seem rude, but he could not help looking at everything. This place was amazing. Finally, they reached two large doors. The doors were made of something that looked like liquid gold. They moved without being touched. They simply opened. The throne room was the most beautiful place had ever seen. It was huge. The ceiling was so high that clouds floated near the top, real clouds, inside a room. Light came from everywhere and nowhere. The floor showed the image of a galaxy slowly spinning under their feet. And there at the end of the room sat the queen. Queen was different from the other. Her skin was not just pale blue. It had a soft glow like moonlight trapped under water. Her eyes were silver, not dark. She wore a dress made of light itself. It moved around her like living fire. She was beautiful and she was powerful, could feel it. Everyone in the room could feel it. The ambassador stepped forward and began to bow. The other humans did the same, bowed his head but kept his eyes up. This was his training. A guard must always watch. And then something strange happened. Queen was speaking. Her voice was like music. She was welcoming the humans. She was talking about peace and friendship and the future. But then she stopped. She stopped right in the middle of a word. Her mouth stayed open. Her silver eyes went wide. She was looking at someone. She was looking at... He felt her gaze like a weight on his chest. He did not understand. Why was she looking at him? He was nobody, just a guard, just a soldier standing in the back. The whole room went silent. The advisors looked at each other. They did not know what was happening. The ambassador turned around, confused. Queen stood up from her throne. Her legs were shaking. Her hands were trembling. The glow around her skin flickered like a candle in the wind. She took one step forward, then another. Her eyes never left his face. "It cannot be," she whispered. Her voice was so soft that almost no one heard it, but heard it. He heard every word. "It cannot be," she said again. "You look like him, you look exactly like him." Did not know what to say. He did not know what she meant. He stood very still like a statue. One of the advisors rushed to the queen's side. He was an old with many silver lines on his head. "My queen, are you well? Should we stop the ceremony?" Queen did not answer him. She kept walking toward. The other humans stepped aside. They were scared. They did not know what was happening. She stopped right in front of him. She was taller than him. She looked down into his eyes. Her silver eyes were full of tears. "Your face," she said. "Your eyes, the way you stand, even the way you breathe." She raised one hand slowly. She almost touched his cheek, but she stopped herself. "Who are you?" she asked. Her voice broke like glass. Swallowed hard, his throat was dry. "My name is Your Majesty. I am a guard. I am here to protect the ambassador." Queen shook her head slowly. "No, you are more than that. You must be more than that." She took a deep breath. Her whole body was shaking now. "You look like someone I lost, someone I loved, someone who died a very long time ago." The room was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Did not understand. How could he look like someone she knew? He was just a human from Earth. She was an alien queen who had lived for centuries. But he saw the pain in her eyes. It was real. It was deep. It was the kind of pain that never goes away. "I am sorry, Your Majesty," he said quietly. "I do not know what you mean. I am just a simple soldier." Queen closed her eyes. A single silver tear ran down her cheek. "He said the same thing," she whispered. "He always said the same thing, that he was simple, that he was nobody, but he was everything to me." She turned away suddenly. She walked back to her throne with quick steps. Her advisors rushed after her. The ceremony was over before it even started. The ambassador looked at with shock and confusion. "What just happened?" he asked. Shook his head slowly. "I do not know, sir. I truly do not know." But as they were led out of the throne room, looked back one last time. Queen was sitting on her throne again. She was looking at him, and in her silver eyes he saw something that scared him more than any enemy ever could. He saw hope. That night Queen could not sleep. She lay in her bed made of soft light. The ceiling above her showed the stars of her empire, thousands of them, millions of them. She had watched over these stars for 800 years. She had seen wars begin and end. She had seen planets born and die. She had seen everything. But she had never forgotten him. One. She closed her eyes and let the memory come. It was an old memory, 300 years old, but it was as clear as yesterday. Back then she was not a queen. She was a princess, young and foolish and full of dreams. The empire was at war with the shadows. The shadows were creatures of darkness. They came from the empty spaces between stars. They wanted to destroy all life. The war was terrible. Billions died, planets burned. Hope was dying. His father, the king, sent her away on a ship. He wanted her to be safe. He wanted her to survive even if everyone else died. "You will be queen one day," he told her. "You must live." Did not want to leave. She wanted to fight. But she was young and her father was the king. She had to obey. The ship carried her through dangerous space. They flew past broken planets and dead stars. The shadows were everywhere. They hunted anything that moved. On the 5th day, the shadows found them. They attacked without warning. Black ships came out of nowhere. They fired weapons that had never seen before. The ship was hit. It started to fall apart. Was going to die, she knew it. She accepted it. But then another ship appeared. It was small, much smaller than the shadow ships. It was shaped like a bird with spread wings, and it flew like nothing had ever seen. It moved so fast that it was almost invisible. The small ship attacked the shadows. It fired bright beams of light. It danced between the enemy weapons. It should have been destroyed in seconds, but it was not. One by one, the shadow ships exploded. When the battle was over, the small ship came close to his damaged vessel. A voice came through the communication system. "This is Captain One of the Earth Explorer Corps. Do you need help?" Earth had heard of Earth. It was a small planet far away. Humans lived there. They were young in the galaxy. They had only started traveling through space a few decades ago. They were weak compared to the great empires. But this human had just saved her life. One helped repair her ship. He stayed with her for 3 months while they slowly made their way to safe space. During those 3 months, learned many things about humans. She learned that they were kind. They shared their food even when they did not have much. She learned that they were brave. They faced danger without complaint. She learned that they were loyal. They never abandoned their friends. And she learned that one was special. He was not tall he was not strong like the warriors of the outer planets. He did not have powers or magic or ancient technology. He was just a man. But his heart was bigger than any star. He made her laugh. No one had ever made her laugh before. Royalty did not laugh. It was not proper. But one told her stories from Earth. Silly stories about animals and children and old men who did foolish things. She laughed until her stomach hurt. He listened to her. He really listened. When she talked about her fears and her dreams, he did not judge her. He did not give her advice. He simply heard her words and held her hand. He taught her that being strong did not mean being alone. Somewhere during those 3 months, fell in love. She did not plan it. She did not want it. A princess could not love a human. It was impossible. It was wrong. Her people would never accept it. But love does not care about rules. On the last night before they reached safe space, told him the truth. "I love you," she said. "I know it is foolish. I know nothing can come of it, but I wanted you to know." One looked at her for a long moment. His eyes were brown, like the earth of his home planet. They were warm and deep and full of light. "I love you too," he said. "I have loved you since the first moment I saw you." They held each other that night. They did not sleep. They just talked and laughed and cried. They knew their time together was ending. They knew the universe would pull them apart. But for one night they were together, and that was enough. When they reached safe space, ships came to take home. One said goodbye to her on the deck of her ship. "I will find you again," he said. "No matter how long it takes, no matter how far I have to go, I will find you." Touched his face one last time. "Promise me," she whispered. "I promise." But he did not find her. The war continued. The shadows grew stronger. His father was killed in battle. She became queen at a young age. She had to lead her people through the darkest time in their history. She tried to find one. She sent messages to Earth. She sent ships to search for him, but Earth was far away. Communication was difficult. The war made everything impossible. Finally, after 10 years, she received news. One was dead. He had been fighting the shadows near a small planet called Hope. The shadows had sent 100 ships. One had only 5, but he refused to run. There were children on that planet. Thousands of children. If he ran, they would die. So he stayed. He fought for 3 days. His ships were destroyed one by one. His crew died around him, but he kept fighting. He drew the shadows away from the planet. He gave the children time to escape. In the end, his ship was the only one left. The shadows surrounded him. They demanded his surrender. His last message was recorded and sent to Earth. "My name is One. I am a simple explorer from Earth. I am about to die. But I want everyone to know that I am not afraid. I have seen the beauty of the universe. I have loved and been loved. I have no regrets." He paused. His voice became soft. "If you ever hear this, please know that I kept my promise. I never stopped looking for you. I never stopped loving you, and I will find you again. Somehow, someday, in this life or the next." Then the message ended. One flew his ship directly into the Shadow command vessel. The explosion destroyed both ships. It created a light so bright that it could be seen from 3 star systems away. The children on Planet Hope were saved, 12,000 children, all because one human refused to run. When heard the news, she did not cry. She could not cry. She was a queen now. Queens do not cry. But something inside her died that day. A part of her heart turned to ice and never melted again. For 300 years she ruled the empire. She won the war against the shadows. She brought peace to hundreds of worlds. She was called the greatest queen in history. But she never forgot one. She never forgot his face, his eyes, his smile, the way he stood, the way he breathed. She remembered everything. And now, after 300 years, she had seen that face again. In the throne room, standing in the back, a simple guard named opened her eyes and stared at the stars above her bed. "You promised," she whispered to the darkness. "You promised you would find me. Is this your way of keeping that promise?" The stars did not answer. But in her heart, a small flame of hope began to burn, a flame she thought had died long ago. One had promised, and humans, she had learned, always kept their promises, even after death. 3 days passed after the strange meeting in the throne room. The diplomatic talks continued. The ambassador met with officials every day. They discussed trade. They discussed borders. They discussed the future of human and relations. But everyone noticed that something had changed. Queen had made an unusual request. She wanted the human guard named to serve as her personal protector during the negotiations. This was very strange. Queens always used guards. They never trusted outsiders. The ambassador was confused. The other humans were worried, but no one could refuse a queen. So became Queen's shadow. He stood behind her during meetings. He walked beside her through the palace halls. He waited outside her door while she slept. Wherever she went, he followed. At first it was uncomfortable. Did not understand why she had chosen him. He was not the strongest guard. He was not the most experienced. He was just average. But Queen watched him constantly. When she thought he was not looking, her silver eyes would find his face. She would stare at him like he was a puzzle she was trying to solve. It made nervous. On the 4th day, something changed. Queen invited him to walk with her in the palace gardens, just the two of them. No advisors, no other guards. The gardens were beautiful beyond words. Flowers that sang when touched, trees that changed color with every passing moment, a river that flowed upward into the sky. Had never seen such wonders. But Queen did not look at the garden. She looked at him. "Tell me about yourself," she said. Her voice was soft, almost shy. Did not know what to say. He was a guard. Guards did not talk about themselves with queens. "There is not much to tell, Your Majesty. I was born in a small town on Earth. My parents were farmers. I joined the military when I was young. I have been a soldier ever since." Nodded slowly. She seemed to be searching his words for something. "Do you have a family, a wife, children?" "No, Your Majesty. I have never married. My work has kept me moving from place to place. It is hard to build a life when you are always leaving." Something flickered in his eyes, a sadness, a recognition. "He said something like that once," she whispered. Felt strange hearing her words. He knew she was talking about the man from her past, the one he looked like, but he did not understand the connection. "Your Majesty, may I ask a question?" Looked surprised. "Yes, please." "Who do I look like? You said I look exactly like someone you lost. I would like to understand." Stopped walking. She stood very still for a long moment. The flowers around them sang their quiet songs. The colorful trees swayed in the gentle breeze. "His name was One," she finally said. "He was a human like you. He saved my life 300 years ago." 300 years. Could not imagine such a length of time. He would be dust long before 300 years passed. "What happened to him?" he asked gently. His face tightened with old pain. He died saving others. He was always saving others. She paused. He was the bravest man I ever knew, and I loved him more than I can say. Felt his heart ache for her. 300 years of carrying such a loss. 300 years of remembering. It was too much for anyone to bear. I am sorry, Your Majesty. I did not mean to bring you pain. Shook her head. You do not bring me pain, you bring me something else. She looked at him with those silver eyes full of mystery. When I see your face, I feel hope. I feel like maybe he is not completely gone. Did not know how to respond. What could he say to that? They continued walking in silence. The garden seemed to sense the queen's mood. The flowers sang softer. The trees glowed with gentle blue light. After a while, spoke again. Do you know anything about your ancestors, your family history? Thought about it? Not much, Your Majesty. My family were simple people, farmers and workers. We did not keep many records. Nodded. She seemed disappointed but not surprised. May I ask you to do something for me? Anything, Your Majesty. When you return to Earth, will you search? Will you look into your family history? Will you find out where you come from? It was a strange request, but could not refuse her, not when she looked at him with such hope in her eyes. I will, Your Majesty, I promise. Smiled. It was the first time he had seen her smile. It transformed her whole face. She looked younger, lighter, almost happy. Thank you. You cannot know how much that means to me. The days continued, stayed by the queen's side. He learned her habits. He learned her moods. He learned the rhythm of her days. She liked to wake early before the purple sun rose. She would stand on her balcony and watch the stars fade away. Sometimes she would whisper words in an ancient language. Did not understand the words, but he felt their meaning. They were prayers, or perhaps memories. She ate very little. Food seemed unimportant to her. She only ate enough to stay alive. She read constantly. Old books, ancient records, stories from long ago. She was searching for something, did not know what. And she watched him, always watched him. Sometimes, when did something small, like brush his hair from his eyes or tap his fingers when he was thinking, would catch her breath. Her eyes would fill with tears. She would look away quickly, pretending nothing had happened. But noticed, he always noticed. One night he found her crying. It was late, the palace was quiet, was standing guard outside her chambers when he heard the sound. Soft sobs, quiet weeping. He should not have entered, it was not his place, but something pulled him forward, something he could not explain. He opened the door slowly. Was sitting by the window. Silver tears ran down her glowing cheeks. In her hands she held a small object. It looked like a crystal, but light moved inside it. She looked up when he entered. She did not seem angry, only tired, so very tired. I am sorry, said quickly. I heard you crying. I wanted to make sure you were safe. Wiped her tears with the back of her hand. I am safe, she said. I am always safe. That is the curse of being a queen. Did not understand. Being safe is a curse. Held up the crystal in her hands. This is a memory stone. It holds a moment of time, a perfect moment that never fades. She turned it in her fingers. The light inside shifted and changed. This stone holds the last night I spent with one, our last conversation, our last goodbye. Felt his throat tighten. I have watched this memory 1,000 times, continued. I know every word, every look, every breath. She closed her eyes. Sometimes I watch it just to see his face move, just to hear his voice speak. Your Majesty, did not know what to say. I have lived for 800 years, said. I have ruled an empire, I have won wars. I have done everything a queen should do, but I have never forgotten him. I have never stopped loving him, and I have never stopped wondering. Wondering what? Looked at him. Her silver eyes were deep and sad. If he is still out there somewhere, if some part of him lives on. She stood up slowly. She walked toward him. When I first saw you in the throne room, my heart stopped. For one moment, I thought the universe had given him back to me. She reached out and touched his cheek. Her hand was cool like water. I know you are not him, she whispered. I know that, but there is something of him in you. I can feel it. I can see it. Stood very still. He could feel the weight of 300 years of love and loss pressing down on him. It was heavy, but it was also beautiful. I do not know how to help you, Your Majesty, he said honestly. I do not know who I am or where I come from, but I know one thing. What is that? Looked into her eyes, brown meeting silver, human meeting alien, present meeting past. If I am connected to him in any way, I am honored, because anyone who could earn your love must have been a great man. His eyes filled with fresh tears, but this time she was smiling. He was, she said. He was the greatest man I ever knew. She stepped back and wiped her eyes. Go rest now. Tomorrow we will search for answers together. Bowed and left the room, but as he walked back to his post, he felt something new growing inside him, a curiosity, a need to know. Who was one, and what was his connection to a simple guard from Earth? The answers were waiting, he could feel it. And he would find them. The search began the next morning. Queen had access to records that no one else could see, ancient archives from across the galaxy, records of every ship that had ever flown, names of every explorer, soldier, and traveler who had ventured into space. She used all of it to help find his past. They worked together in a quiet room in the deepest part of the palace. Screens of light floated in the air, showing information from 100 different sources. Scribes helped translate old documents. Human computers sent data from Earth. Had never cared about his family history before. He had always looked forward, never back. But now, for the first time, he needed to know where he came from. The first clue came from Earth's military records. His father had also been a soldier. His grandfather, too. Going back 5 generations, every man in his family had served in the military. It was in their blood. But beyond that, the records became unclear. Earth's history was messy. Wars and disasters had destroyed many old documents. Finding information from 300 years ago was almost impossible. Almost. Queen sent requests to every archive she knew. She called in favors from scholars and historians across the empire. She spent her own treasury to fund the search. Some of her advisors questioned her. Why was the Queen spending so much time and money on one human guard? It did not make sense. But did not explain. She simply continued the search. On the 10th day, they found something. A scholar named had been studying old Earth records for many years. He had found a document that mentioned the name One. It was a military report from the time of the Shadow War. Look at this, said, pulling up the record on a floating screen, and leaned forward together. The document was old and damaged. Parts of it were missing, but the important words were clear. Captain One, commander of the Earth Explorer Corps, died in battle at Planet Hope. He was 32 years old. He had no wife, no children. His face fell. No children, she whispered. Then how? But held up one finger. Please wait, Your Majesty, there is more. He pulled up another document. This one was even older. It was a personal letter written by One himself before his final battle. Felt his heart beating faster as he read the words. To my brother One, the letter began. If you are reading this, then I am gone. I am sorry I could not come home. I am sorry I could not see you again. Please forgive me. The letter continued. I have never told you about my time with the princess. I was afraid you would think I was foolish. Perhaps I was, but I loved her, brother. I loved her more than I can say, and I carry that love with me now, even as I go to my death. His hands were shaking. She had never seen this letter before. She had never known that One had a brother. There is more, said gently. He scrolled down to the end of the letter. Take care of our family, One. have children, raise them to be good and kind. And if any of them ever have my face, tell them about me. Tell them that their uncle was a fool who fell in love with a star." The room was silent. Stared at the words. He read them again and again. His uncle. One was his uncle, many times removed across 300 years, but his uncle nonetheless. "I am his descendant," said slowly. "Not his son, but his brother's descendant." Nodded. "It appears so. The family records from Earth show that one did have children, many children, and those children had children. The line continues all the way to your father." Turned to, her silver eyes were wide with wonder. "You carry his blood, his family, his face." Her voice trembled. "The universe brought you to me. After 300 years it brought you to me." Did not know what to feel. Pride, shock, fear, everything mixed together inside him like a storm. "I did not know," he said. "I never knew I had such an ancestor." Reached out and took his hands in hers. "It does not matter that you did not know. What matters is that you are here. What matters is that you are real." She squeezed his hands tightly. "Do you understand what this means? One asked his brother to have children. He asked his brother to continue the family, because he knew, somehow he knew." Knew what? "That one day, one of his descendants would find me." Felt tears forming in his eyes. He was not a crying man. He had not cried since he was a child, but the weight of this moment was too much. He was connected to a hero, a man who had saved a princess and died protecting children, a man who had loved across species and across stars, a man who had kept his promise even in death. "I do not deserve this," said quietly. "I am not like him. I have never done anything great. I am just a guard." Shook her head firmly. "He said the same thing. He always said he was nobody special. He was wrong, and so are you." She let go of his hands and stepped back. "You carry more than his face, you carry his spirit. I have seen it in the way you stand, in the way you watch over others, in the way you speak with kindness and act with honor. You are his blood, and his blood runs true." Looked down at his hands, simple hands, workers' hands, soldiers' hands. But now he saw them differently. These were the hands of a hero's descendant. These were the hands of a promise kept. "What happens now?" he asked. Walked to the window and looked out at the purple sky. "That depends on you," she said. "Your mission here is almost over. The negotiations are finishing. Soon you will return to Earth with your ambassador." Felt something twist in his chest. The thought of leaving felt wrong. He had only known the Queen for a few weeks, but already he could not imagine being away from her. "And if I do not want to leave?" he asked softly. Turned around slowly. Hope and fear battled in her silver eyes. "Do not say things you do not mean," she warned. "I cannot bear to lose him twice." Walked toward her. He moved slowly, giving her time to stop him if she wanted, but she did not stop him. She stood perfectly still as he approached. "I am not one," he said. "I can never be him. I did not know him. I do not have his memories. I am my own person." Nodded sadly. "I know." But continued, "I carry his blood. I carry his promise. And now that I know the truth, I cannot walk away. I cannot leave you alone with 300 years of sorrow." He reached out and took her hand again. "Let me stay, not as a replacement for him, never as a replacement, but as someone new, someone who can make new memories, someone who can keep you company for whatever time I have." His eyes filled with tears. Silver drops rolled down her glowing cheeks. "You would do that," she whispered. "You would give up your world, your people, your life." Smiled gently. "My ancestor gave up his life for 12,000 children he never met. The least I can do is give up my old life for someone who has already lost too much." Let out a sob. It was not a sad sound. It was a release. 300 years of holding on, finally letting go. She pulled into her arms and held him tightly. She was taller than him, so his head rested against her shoulder, but it felt right. It felt like coming home. He promised he would find me, said through her tears. I waited 300 years for that promise, and now here you are, different but the same, new but familiar. She pulled back and looked at his face. She studied every detail, every line, every shadow. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for being born. Thank you for finding your way here. Thank you for being his blood. Wiped the tears from her cheeks. Thank you for waiting, he said. Thank you for keeping his memory alive. Thank you for loving him enough to see me. They stood together by the window as the purple sun began to set. Two people from different worlds. Two hearts connected across 300 years. The truth had been found. Now it was time to build something new. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. A human guard had been chosen by Queen to stay at her side, not as a servant, not as a diplomat, but as her protector and companion. The descendant of a hero from Earth had returned to the after 300 years. Some people were shocked. How could the great Queen lower herself to keep company with a human? Humans were young in the galaxy. They were weak. They were temporary. But those who knew the story felt differently. They remembered the Shadow War. They remembered Captain One and his sacrifice. They remembered the 12,000 children he had saved on Planet Hope. And they understood. Love does not care about species or time. Love finds a way, always. The day came when had to make his choice official. The ambassador and the other human guards were returning to Earth. The diplomatic mission was over, could leave with them if he wanted. He stood at the landing pad where the human ship waited. His old life was right there, his friends, his duty, his home. The ambassador approached him one last time. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. "You could have a good career in the military, you could become a captain someday, maybe even a commander." Smiled and shook his head. "I was never going to be a captain. I was never going to be anything special. I was just going to be another soldier who followed orders until I was too old to fight." He looked back at the palace, shining like a crystal mountain against the purple sky. "But here I can be something more. I can be a bridge between humans and I can continue what my ancestors started. I can prove that humans are worthy of trust and love." The ambassador sighed but nodded. "I understand. I do not agree, but I understand." He held out his hand. "Good luck, make us proud." Shook his hand firmly. "I will try." He watched the ship lift off and disappear into the sky. He felt a moment of sadness. He would probably never see Earth again, never feel its rain on his face, never smell its air, never walk its soil. But he had made his choice, and he would not take it back. He turned and walked toward the palace. Queen was waiting for him in the throne room, but she was not sitting on her throne today. She was standing at the bottom of the stairs like a normal person, like an equal. The room was full of nobles and officials. They had come to witness this historic moment, a human becoming part of the Queen's court. It had never happened before. Walked through the crowd. He kept his head high. He did not look at the curious faces watching him. He only looked at. She was beautiful as always, but today she was wearing something different. Instead of her dress of light, she wore a simple gown of dark blue, and around her neck she wore a small crystal on a chain. The memory stone, the one that held her last moment with One, stopped in front of her and bowed deeply. "Your Majesty," smiled and gestured for him to rise. "Today is not a day for bowing," she said. Her voice carried across the silent room. "Today is a day for standing tall." She turned to address the crowd. 300 years ago, a human saved my life. He taught me that courage has no species, that love has no borders, that heroes can come from anywhere. She paused and looked at. His name was One. He died fighting the shadows. He died so that others could live, and I have carried his memory in my heart ever since. The nobles murmured quietly. Some knew this story. Others were hearing it for the first time. Now, continued, the universe has given me a gift. A descendant of that hero has come to my world. He carries the blood of the man I loved. He carries his face, his spirit, his promise. She reached out and took his hand. He let her lift his arm high so everyone could see. He was a guard, a simple soldier, but from this day forward he will be something more. He will be the voice of humanity in my court. He will be a symbol of the bond between our peoples. He will be my friend and my protector. The crowd was silent for a long moment. Then slowly they began to bow, one by one, row by row, all the nobles of the empire bowing to a human. Felt his heart swell with emotion. He was not worthy of this honor. He knew that. But he would work every day to become worthy. He would earn their respect. He would prove that humans belonged among the stars. After the ceremony took him to a quiet garden, the same garden where they had walked together before. The singing flowers, the color-changing trees, the river flowing up to the sky. They sat together on a bench made of crystal. "Are you afraid?" asked softly. "Yes," admitted. "I am afraid every moment. I am afraid of failing, of not being enough, of disappointing you." Nodded, she understood. "One was afraid too," she said. "He told me once that he was always afraid, but he never let his fear stop him. He said that courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing what must be done despite the fear." Looked at her. "I will try to live up to his example. I will try to be brave. I will try to make him proud." Leaned against him gently. Her head rested on his shoulder. They sat in silence for a long time, watching the evening light paint the garden in shades of purple and gold. "Can I tell you something?" finally said. "Anything." "For 300 years I felt alone. Even surrounded by millions of people, I felt alone. The only person who truly knew me, the only person who saw past the crown and the power was gone. I had no one to talk to, no one to hold, no one to trust." She took a deep breath. "But now I feel like I am waking up from a long sleep, like the ice around my heart is finally melting, because of you." Put his arm around her shoulders. "I am not him," he reminded her gently. "I can never be him." "I know," said, "and I do not want you to be. I want you to be you. I want to learn who you are. I want to make new memories, not replace the old ones but add to them." She lifted her head and looked into his eyes. "Was you let me do that? Was you let me know you, the real you?" Smiled. "Yes, I would like that." They talked late into the night, told her about his childhood on Earth, about the small village where he grew up, about his mother who made the best soup in the world, about his father who taught him to fight with honor. Told him about her years as queen, about the difficult choices she had made, about the enemies she had defeated and the friends she had lost, about the weight of ruling an empire alone. They laughed together, they cried together, they shared secrets they had never told anyone else. And slowly, carefully, they began to build something new. Not a replacement for what was lost, never that, but a new beginning, a new chapter, a new story. Months passed, then years, became a trusted advisor in the court. He helped build stronger ties between humans and he traveled to other worlds and spoke about peace and friendship. He became known as the bridge builder. And he stayed by side through it all. He grew older, of course. Humans did not live as long as but had expected that. She had chosen to love someone temporary once before. She would do it again. "I would rather have 50 years with you," she told him once, "than an eternity alone." Held her close. "I would rather have one day with you than a lifetime with anyone else." And so they lived, day by day, year by year, building something beautiful out of love and loss and hope. One's promise had been kept, across 300 years, across the vast empty spaces between stars. His blood had found its way back to. Humans, it seemed, never truly let go of those they loved. Not even death could stop them. Not even time. not even the endless dark between the stars. Because humans made promises, and humans kept them. Always. Even when the universe said it was impossible, the moon had no name. It was just a rock floating in the dark space between two dying stars. Had passed it 100 times during his cargo runs. He never stopped. There was no reason to stop. Nothing lived there. Nothing grew there. It was just dust and silence. But today was different. Today saw fire falling from the black sky. He was alone in his small ship, eating cold rice from a metal container when the alarm started screaming. Something big was entering the moon's thin atmosphere. His screens showed a vessel, much larger than his own, spinning out of control. Flames covered its surface like angry hands trying to tear it apart. Put down his food. He watched the ship crash into the dust below. A cloud of smoke and dirt rose high into the air. He should have kept flying. That was the smart thing to do. Cargo pilots did not stop for strangers. The galaxy was full of pirates, criminals, and worse things. A crashed ship could be a trap. Everyone knew this. But was not everyone. He turned his ship toward the moon. His hands moved across the controls with calm movements. He had done this before, not the saving part, the landing part. He was good at landing. His ship touched down 300 meters from the wreck. The dust settled slowly in the weak gravity. Stood up from his seat and walked to the back of his ship. He put on his suit, checked his oxygen, and grabbed a small light. He did not bring a weapon. He did not own one. The walk to the crashed ship was quiet. His boots made soft sounds in the dust. The wreck was bigger than he thought. It was silver and smooth, shaped like a leaf. But now it was broken. One side was completely destroyed. The other side had a large hole where something had cut through the metal. Climbed through the hole. Inside, the ship was dark. His light showed walls covered in strange symbols. The air was thin and smelled like burning metal. He walked slowly, stepping over broken machines and fallen pieces of the ceiling. Then he found the bodies. 3 of them. They wore armor that looked like liquid silver. Their faces were hidden behind masks. Their bodies did not move. Checked each one. They were dead. He did not know how. There was no blood. They just stopped living. He kept walking. The ship was larger inside than it looked outside. He passed through rooms filled with strange objects. Some glowed with soft blue light. Others made quiet humming sounds. He did not touch anything. He was looking for survivors. He found one. She was lying in the largest room at the center of the ship. The room had a high ceiling and walls that sparkled like stars. A throne made of crystal stood at the far end. The woman was on the floor in front of it. Ran to her. She was not human, that was clear immediately. Her skin was pale blue like ice under moonlight. Her hair was white and long, spread around her head like a cloud. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing was weak. But she was breathing. Kneeled beside her. He saw the wounds now. Deep cuts covered her arms and chest. The blood that came from them was silver, not red. It flowed slowly, pooling on the floor like liquid metal. He did not know what to do. He was a cargo pilot, not a doctor. He carried boxes from one planet to another. He knew nothing about alien bodies or silver blood. But he knew she was dying. He looked around the room. There must be something here. Medicine, bandages, anything. He stood up and searched through the broken objects. He found containers filled with strange liquids. He found tools he did not understand. He found nothing useful. When he returned to the woman, her eyes were open. They were gold, pure gold, like 2 small suns burning in her pale face. She looked at him without fear. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Leaned closer. "Who are you?" he asked. He did not expect her to understand. But she did. "I am Lyra," she said. Her voice was weak but clear. "Princess of the Empire." Did not know what the Empire was. He had never heard that name before, but he understood the word princess. He understood that this woman was important. "What happened?" he asked. "My own people," Lyra said. "They wanted me dead. They sent assassins. I escaped, but my ship—" She looked around the broken room. Pain filled her golden eyes. "My guards, are they?" "Dead," said. He did not see the point in lying. Lyra closed her eyes. A silver tear rolled down her blue cheek. "They will come," she said. "The assassins, they will follow, they always follow." "How long?" asked. "Hours, maybe less." Looked at her wounds. The silver blood was still flowing. Too much blood. She would not survive for hours. She would not survive for 1 hour. "You need help," he said. "Medical help. I have a small kit on my ship, but I do not know if it will work on you." Lyra shook her head slowly. "Your medicine will not help," she said. "My blood is dying. It cannot heal itself anymore. The blades they used were made of crystal from a dead star. There is only one thing that can save me now." "What?" asked. Lyra looked at him. Her golden eyes seemed to see inside his soul. "New blood," she said. "Blood from a living creature, but my kind cannot accept blood from other species. We are too different. Our bodies reject everything." "Everything," said. Lyra was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke again. "There is one exception," she said. "One species in all the galaxy that shares something with us. Something in their blood that makes it possible." "Which species?" asked. Lyra's golden eyes met his human eyes. "Yours," she said. "Humans." Felt his heart beat faster. He looked at the dying princess. He looked at her silver blood. He thought about the assassins coming to finish their work. He was just a cargo pilot. He carried boxes. He was nobody special. He had no reason to risk his life for a stranger. But she was dying, right here, right now in front of him, and had never been able to walk away from someone who needed help. "Tell me what to do," he said. Lyra's eyes widened. For the first time since he found her, something like hope appeared on her face. "You would do this?" she asked. "You do not know me. You do not know my people. Why would you give your blood to save me?" Thought about the question. He did not have a good answer. He did not have any answer at all. "Because you are dying," he said simply, "and I am here." Lyra stared at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. It was a small smile, weak and tired, but it was real. "Humans," she whispered. "I have heard stories about your kind. I never believed them. I thought they were just myths." "What stories?" asked. But Lyra did not answer. Her eyes closed again. Her breathing became slower. The silver blood kept flowing. Time was running out. Made his decision. He did not think about it anymore. He picked up the princess in his arms. She was lighter than he expected, like holding a piece of cloud. He carried her through the broken ship, back through the hole in the wall, across the dust, and into his small cargo vessel. He laid her on his bed. It was small and hard, meant for one person. She looked strange there, this alien princess with blue skin and silver blood, lying on his cheap sheets. But she was alive, for now. Closed the door of his ship and looked out the window at the empty moon. Somewhere out there, assassins were coming. They wanted to kill this woman. They had killed her guards. They would kill him too if he got in their way. He should leave her here. He should fly away and forget he ever saw her. Instead, he sat down next to the bed and waited for her to wake up. He had many questions about the blood, about the bond, about everything. But those questions could wait. Right now, he just needed her to survive the night. Lyra woke up screaming. Jumped from his chair. He had been sitting beside her for 3 hours, watching her breathe, counting each rise and fall of her chest. Now she was awake, and her golden eyes were wide with terror. "They are coming," she said. "I can feel them, 3 ships. They will be here soon." Looked at his screens. They showed nothing yet, but he believed her. She knew her enemies better than he did. "How soon?" he asked. 1 hour, maybe less. Lyra tried to sit up. Pain crossed her face. She fell back onto the bed. I am too weak, the blood loss is too much. Saw that she was right. Her blue skin had become lighter, almost white. The silver blood had stopped flowing from her wounds, but only because there was not much left inside her. She was dying slowly, like a flower without water. "Tell me about the blood," he said. "You said humans can help you. How?" Lyra took a slow breath. Speaking was hard for her now. "My people," she began, "though we have lived for 1,000,000 years, our blood is different from all other species. It carries our memories, our power, our very souls. When we lose too much blood, we do not just become weak. We begin to fade. Our minds break. Our bodies fail. We become nothing." "But new blood can save you," said. "Yes, but not any blood. The blood must be compatible. For 1,000,000 years we believed no other species could give us blood. Our scientists tried everything. Every alien race, every creature in the galaxy, all of them failed. The blood was rejected. The body died. But humans are different." Lyra looked at him with her golden eyes. There was wonder in them now, mixed with the pain. "Your species is young," she said. "Only a few thousand years old. You appeared so recently that most of the galaxy does not even know you exist. But there are stories, rumors, legends about humans who saved dying with their blood." "Legends?" frowned. "You are betting your life on legends." "I am betting my life on hope," Lyra said. "It is all I have left." Was quiet for a moment. He looked at his hands. They were normal human hands. Brown skin, short fingers, small scars from years of work. There was nothing special about them. "If I give you my blood," he said slowly, "what happens to me?" "You will become weak," Lyra said. "For a few days. Your body will need time to make new blood, but you will survive. Humans are strong that way." "And you, what happens to you?" Lyra was quiet. Her golden eyes looked away from his face. "Tell me," said. "I need to know everything." "There is a bond," Lyra said finally. "When it takes blood from another creature, our souls become connected. Forever, I will feel what you feel. I will know your thoughts. Your memories will become part of me. Like reading my mind. More than that, like sharing your mind, your heart, your very being." Lyra's voice became softer. "It is the most intimate thing my people can do. We only share blood with those we love deeply. A husband, a wife, a child, never with strangers, never with other species." Understood now. This was not just a medical procedure. This was something much bigger. "You will be connected to me," he said, "forever, even after I leave, even if we never see each other again." "Yes. And I will be connected to you." Lyra shook her head. "No, the bond only works one way. I will feel you. You will feel nothing. You will be free. I will be tied to you, always." Sat back in his chair. This was a lot to think about. He was a simple man. He flew cargo ships. He ate alone. He slept alone. He had no family, no friends, no one waiting for him anywhere in the galaxy. Now this alien princess was telling him that if he saved her life, she would be connected to him forever. She would feel his loneliness, his emptiness, his small, quiet life. "That does not sound fair," he said, "for you." Lyra smiled weakly. "Fairness is a human idea. My people do not think that way." "How do your people think?" "We think about survival, about duty, about honor," she coughed. Silver blood appeared on her lips. "Right now I am thinking about how much I do not want to die." Looked at the screens again, still nothing. But time was running out. He could feel it. "The assassins," he said. "Who sent them?" "My brother," Lyra said. The word came out like poison. "He wants the throne. He has always wanted the throne, but I am the firstborn, I am the heir. So he decided to remove me." "Your own brother wants to kill you." "Power does strange things to people, even royal people." Lyra's golden eyes filled with tears again. "My guards died protecting me. Good men, loyal men, they had families, children, and now they are gone because of my brother's hunger for power." Felt anger rise in his chest. He did not know these guards. He did not know this princess. But he understood betrayal. He understood what it meant to be hurt by family. "We should run," he said. "My ship is fast. We can leave now before they arrive." "They will follow," Lyra said. "Their ships are faster than yours, and I am too weak to help. If we run, they will catch us in open space. At least here on this moon we have a chance." "What kind of chance?" "I do not know yet." Lyra looked at him with desperate eyes. "But if you give me your blood, if I can heal, I will be strong enough to fight. My people are warriors. I have trained since I was a child. Give me back my strength and I will protect us both." Thought about this. He had no weapons. He had no fighting skills. He was just a cargo pilot. If those assassins came, he would die quickly. His only hope was this dying princess. But that was not why he decided to help her. He decided because she was scared. He decided because she was alone. He decided because she had lost everything and everyone, and she was asking for his help with tears in her golden eyes. Had been alone for many years. He knew what it felt like to have no one. He knew what it felt like to face the darkness by yourself. He would not let her face it alone. "Okay," he said, "I will give you my blood." Lyra stared at him. "You understand what this means. You understand the bond. You understand that I will know everything about you, every secret, every memory, every shame." "I have no secrets," said. "I have no shame. I have a small life and a small heart. There is nothing in me worth hiding." "You say that now, but when my mind touches yours, you might feel differently. Humans value their privacy. You might hate me for knowing you so completely." Shook his head. "I do not hate easily, and I do not change my mind once I decide something." Lyra was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke again, her voice barely a whisper. "Why are you doing this? You do not know me, you owe me nothing. You could leave right now and save yourself. Why stay? Why help?" Did not have a beautiful answer. He did not have a speech about duty or honor or the goodness of humanity. He only had the truth. "When I was a boy," he said, "my mother was very sick. She was dying. I sat beside her bed every night holding her hand, praying for someone to come and help her. But no one came. The doctors gave up. The neighbors stopped visiting. Everyone walked away." He paused. The memory still hurt, even after all these years. "She died alone," he said. "Except for me. I was just a child. I could not save her. I could not do anything except watch." He looked at Lyra with steady eyes. "I am not a child anymore," he said. "And you are not going to die alone. Not tonight. Not while I am here." Tears flowed down Lyra's blue cheeks. Silver tears that sparkled in the dim light of the ship. "The stories were true," she whispered. "The legends about humans, they were all true." "What legends?" asked. Lyra smiled through her tears. "That you are the only species in the galaxy that helps without asking why. That you save strangers without expecting reward. That you give everything for people you have never met." She reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were cold like touching ice. "My people call you the mad ones," she said, "because we cannot understand why you do the things you do. No logic explains it. No calculation supports it. You just care for no reason at all." Looked down at their joined hands. Her blue skin against his brown skin. Her silver blood against his red blood. "Maybe that is what makes us human," he said. Outside the ship, on the empty moon, the first lights appeared in the dark sky. 3 points of fire, growing larger every second. The assassins had arrived. But did not look at them. He looked at Lyra. "Tell me how to do this," he said. "Tell me how to save you." And Lyra, the dying princess of an empire he had never heard of, began to explain. The process was simple, too simple for something so important. Lyra told to find a knife. He found one in his small kitchen, the same knife he used to cut vegetables and open packages. It seemed wrong to use such an ordinary thing for this moment, but Lyra said it did not matter what tool he used. Only the blood mattered. "You must cut your palm," she said, "deep enough for the blood to flow freely. Then place your hand over my heart." Looked at the knife. Then he looked at his hand. He had never hurt himself on purpose before. The idea felt strange. But he did not hesitate. He pressed the blade against his palm and pulled it across his skin. The pain was sharp and hot. Red blood appeared immediately, flowing down his fingers and dripping onto the floor of the ship. "Now," Lyra said, her voice was weak. Her eyes were closing. "Please hurry." Kneeled beside her. He placed his bleeding hand over her heart. The moment his blood touched her skin, everything changed. Lyra screamed. It was not a normal scream. It was a sound that filled the entire ship, that shook the walls, that made the lights flicker and die. Tried to pull his hand away, but he could not move. Something was holding him there, something invisible and powerful. Lyra's body began to glow. Soft blue light came from under her skin, spreading across her chest, her arms, her face. Her silver blood started to move, swirling around the wounds, mixing with the red human blood that flowed from his hand. The two bloods did not reject each other. They joined. They became something new, something neither human nor, something that glowed with golden light. Watched in amazement. He had never seen anything like this. The blood was alive. It was moving with purpose, closing the wounds, healing the damage, bringing life back to the dying princess. But something else was happening too. Lyra's eyes were open now, wide and staring at nothing. Her mouth moved, but no words came out. Tears streamed down her face, gold and silver mixing together. And realized that she was seeing his life. He felt it too. Not clearly, not like watching a movie, but like hearing a song from very far away. He felt her mind touching his, feeling his memories, his emotions, his entire history. She saw him as a child, sitting beside his dying mother. She felt his helplessness, his anger, his grief. She saw the night his mother finally stopped breathing, and she felt the moment his heart broke. She saw him as a teenager, angry at the world, picking fights he could not win. She felt his loneliness, his confusion, his desperate need for someone to care about him. She saw him as a young man, taking his first job on a cargo ship. She felt his relief at finding work, his pride in being useful, his slow acceptance that this small life was all he would ever have. She saw his quiet nights alone in space, his simple meals, his empty conversations with himself, his habit of talking to the stars because there was no one else to talk to. She saw a man who had been forgotten by the universe, a man who expected nothing from anyone, a man who had given up on happiness long ago. And yet she also saw his kindness, his patience, his stubborn hope that refused to die completely. She saw the way he always stopped to help strangers, even when it cost him time and money. She saw the way he smiled at children and old people. She saw the way he treated every living thing with respect. She saw his heart, his real heart, the one he kept hidden from the world. And it was beautiful. Lyra screamed again, but this time it was different. This time it was not pain, it was something else, something like wonder, something like joy. The glowing blood finished its work, the wounds closed, the light faded, Lyra's body stopped shaking, and finally pulled his hand away. He fell backward, hitting the floor hard. His head was spinning. His body felt empty, like someone had poured out half of him. The cut on his hand was still bleeding, but slowly now. He lay there for a long moment, staring at the ceiling of his ship. "Lyra," he said, his voice was weak, "are you okay?" There was no answer. Forced himself to sit up, he looked at the bed. Lyra was sitting up too. Her eyes were open, staring at him. But they were different now. Before, they had been pure gold. Now they had small red lines running through them like rivers of fire. His blood inside her. "I saw everything," she whispered. "Your whole life, every moment, every feeling, every dream." Did not know what to say. He felt exposed, naked. This stranger had seen parts of him that he had never shown anyone. "I am sorry," he said. "My life is not very interesting." Lyra shook her head slowly. "You do not understand. I have lived for 300 years. I have met kings and warriors and scholars. I have seen every wonder in the galaxy, but I have never seen anything like you." Like Me frowned. "I am nobody." "No," Lyra's voice was stronger now. Her body was healing fast. "You are impossible. You have suffered so much. You have lost so much. And yet you still help strangers. You still give without expecting anything back. You still believe in kindness, even though kindness has never been shown to you." She stood up from the bed. Her movements were smooth and powerful. The weakness was gone. She looked at her hands, her arms, her body, as if seeing them for the first time. "Your blood," she said, "it is not just healing me, it is changing me. I can feel things I never felt before, emotions I do not have names for." "What kind of emotions?" asked. Lyra looked at him. Her eyes were burning now with light and fire and something else, something human. "Hope," she said. "Real hope. Not the cold calculation my people call hope. Not the logical estimation of survival. Real hope. The kind that makes no sense. The kind that believes things will be okay even when there is no reason to believe." She laughed. It was a strange sound, wild and free, like she had never laughed before. "This is what humans carry inside them," she said. "This is your power. This is why you are the mad ones. You have this. This fire in your blood that refuses to go out. No matter what happens. No matter how dark things become. You just keep hopping. You just keep trying. You just keep caring." Did not know what to say. He had never thought of himself as powerful. He had never thought hope was special. It was just how he lived. "The assassins," he said finally. "They are here. I saw their ships." Lyra's face changed. The wonder disappeared. Something hard and cold took its place. "Yes," she said. "They are here, 3 of them, the best killers my brother could find." "Can you fight them?" Lyra smiled, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of a warrior who has found her strength again. "Before I could fight them," she said, "I was trained by the greatest masters of my people. I know every fighting style, every weapon, every technique. And now I have something more." She looked at her hands. Red lines glowed under her blue skin like fire under ice. "Your blood has given me something my people have never had, something we did not know we were missing." "What?" Lyra looked at him with her changed eyes. "Rage," she said. "Human rage. The kind that burns when you see injustice. The kind that screams when you see cruelty. The kind that refuses to accept that bad things must happen." She walked to the door of the ship. Outside, through the small window, they could see the 3 enemy ships landing on the dust of the moon. "My brother sent killers to murder me," Lyra said. "He killed my guards. He took everything from me. Before today, I would have fought him with cold logic and careful strategy." She turned to look at one more time. "But now," she said, "I have your fire inside me. Now I understand why humans are so dangerous. Now I know what it feels like to truly want someone to pay for their crimes." The door of the ship opened. Cold air rushed in. Outside, 6 figures in silver armor were walking toward them, weapons drawn. Lyra stepped out into the dust. "Stay here," she said to. "Stay safe. This will not take long." And she walked toward the assassins, alone, with human fire burning in her alien blood. Watch from the door. He was too weak to help, too weak to even stand for long. All he could do was watch and hope. But for the first time in many years, he found that hope came easy. Because he had seen what was inside Lyra now. He had felt her touch his mind. And he knew with perfect certainty that those assassins had made a terrible mistake. They had come to kill a princess. They had found a warrior with the heart of a human. The 6 assassins stopped when they saw Lyra walking toward them. They had expected to find her dead, or dying, or hiding in fear. They had not expected to see her standing tall, her wounds healed, her eyes burning with strange fire. The leader of the assassins raised his hand. The others stopped behind him. He was tall, even for and his silver armor was decorated with marks of his kills. Hundreds of marks. He had murdered many people for Princess Lyra, he said. His voice was cold and flat. You are supposed to be dead. I am full of surprises, Lyra said. She kept walking. Her feet made no sound in the dust. The weak light of the dying stars made her blue skin glow like ice. We saw your ship crash, the leader said. We saw your guards die. You should have no blood left. How are you still alive? Lyra smiled. A friend helped me. The assassin looked past her towards small cargo ship. He saw the open door. He saw the human standing there, weak and pale from blood loss. A human, the assassin laughed. It was an ugly sound. You took blood from a human. That is impossible. Human blood is primitive, dirty. It cannot mix with blood. And yet here I stand, Lyra said, healed, strong, ready. The assassin's laugh died. He looked at Lyra more carefully now. He saw the red lines under her skin. He saw the change in her eyes. He saw something that made him feel, for the first time in his long career, a small touch of fear. What have you done to yourself? He asked. I have become something new, Lyra said. Something your prince did not plan for, something you cannot understand. The assassin raised his weapon. It was a long blade made of crystal from a dead star, the same kind of blade that had wounded Lyra before, the same kind that could kill with a single cut. It does not matter what you have become, he said. You will still die. No, Lyra said, I will not. She moved. Had never seen anything move so fast. One moment Lyra was standing still. The next moment she was in front of the assassin leader. Her hand grabbed his wrist. Her other hand took his blade. And then she broke his arm. The sound was terrible. The assassin screamed. He fell to his knees, holding his twisted limb, staring at her with shocked eyes. You should not have killed my guards, Lyra said. Her voice was different now, harder, hotter. The human rage was burning inside her. They had families, children. They trusted me to keep them safe, and you murdered them. She kicked the leader in the chest. He flew backward, crashing into two of the other assassins. They all fell into the dust. The three remaining assassins attacked at once. They were fast. They were skilled. They had trained for their entire lives to kill people like Lyra. Their blades cut through the air with deadly precision. But Lyra was faster. She dodged the first blade. She blocked the second with the weapon she had taken from the leader. She caught the third assassin's arm and threw him over her shoulder. Then she started fighting back. Watched from the doorway of his ship. He had never seen combat like this. He had never seen anyone move the way Lyra moved. She was like water and fire at the same time, flowing around attacks, burning through defenses. But there was something more, something different from normal fighting. She was angry. Could see it in every movement she made. The cold, careful technique of her people was still there, but now it was mixed with something raw and hot. Human emotion, human fury. When she hit the assassins, she hit them hard. When she blocked their attacks, she pushed back with all her strength. When they cut her, when the crystal blades touched her skin, she did not retreat. She moved forward. That was the human part, realized. That was what his blood had given her. The way of fighting was about efficiency, about winning with the least effort. But humans did not fight that way. Humans fought with their hearts. One of the assassins managed to cut Lyra's arm. Blood flowed out, but it was not silver anymore. It was mixed with red, glowing gold where the two colors touched. The assassin smiled, thinking he had hurt her. Lyra smiled back. Then she grabbed his blade with her bare hand. The crystal cut deep into her palm. More gold blood flowed, but she did not let go. She pulled the blade toward her, pulling the assassin with it. Her other hand found his throat. My brother, she said, her face close to his, sent you to kill me. He thought I was weak. He thought I was alone. He was wrong. She threw the assassin into the air. He flew so high that for a moment he seemed to touch the dark sky. Then he came down, hitting the ground so hard that he did not move again. 3 assassins were still fighting. 3 were down. The remaining 3 changed their strategy. They stopped attacking one at a time. They surrounded Lyra, moving in a circle looking for openings. But Lyra was not afraid. She stood in the center of their circle, her stolen blade in one hand, gold blood dripping from her wounds. I know what you are thinking, she said to them. You are thinking that if you attack together, you can overwhelm me. You are calculating the angles, the timing, the probability of success. She laughed. It was a human laugh, full of defiance and fire. But I am not calculating anymore, she said. I am feeling, and right now I feel like making my brother regret everything he has done. The 3 assassins attacked. Lyra did not move backward, she moved forward, into the attack, into the blades, into the danger. It should have been suicide. Any would have tried to dodge, to find safety, to survive. But Lyra was not just any more. She was part human now. And humans were famous for doing impossible things when they had something to fight for. Lyra took cuts, her arms, her legs, her face. The crystal blades marked her body with wounds that would become scars, but she did not stop. She did not slow down. She kept moving forward, kept attacking, kept fighting. Because every cut she took, she gave back 10 times worse. She broke weapons. She broke armor. She broke bones. The assassins had never faced anything like her. They had killed hundreds of targets, and not one of them had ever fought back with such fury. In the end, only the leader was left standing. He had gotten back up, his broken arm hanging useless at his side. He watched Lyra approach him with horror in his cold eyes. "What are you?" he whispered. Lyra stood before him, covered in cuts, dripping gold blood, her eyes burning like twin suns. "I am Princess Lyra of the Empire," she said, "and I am done being hunted." She raised her blade. "Wait," the assassin said quickly. "I can give you information, your brother, his plans, his weaknesses. I know everything. Spare me and I will tell you everything." Lyra looked at him for a long moment. The human rage was still burning inside her, telling her to finish this, to make him pay for what he had done. But there was another voice too, a quieter voice, a voice that sounded like. It said that mercy was not weakness. It said that kindness was not foolishness. It said that being able to kill someone and choosing not to was the truest form of strength. Lyra lowered her blade. "Tell me everything," she said, "and I will let you live. But if you lie to me, if you try to hurt me or the human, I will find you. I will find your family. I will find everyone you have ever loved." She leaned close to his face. "And I will show them what human rage really looks like." The assassin talked. He told her everything, about her brother's plans, about his alliances, about his fears. He talked until his voice was raw and his eyes were empty. Then Lyra let him go. She watched him run to one of the ships, dragging his broken arm. She watched him take off, flying away into the dark sky. She watched until his ship was just a small light among the stars. Then she fell to her knees. The fight was over, the anger was fading, and now she felt everything else, the pain of her wounds, the weight of what she had done, the strangeness of the new emotions inside her. She heard footsteps behind her. Weak, stumbling footsteps, appeared beside her holding his injured hand, his face pale from blood loss. "You should be resting," she said. "So should you," he answered. He sat down next to her in the dust. They sat together, looking at the dark sky and the distant stars. Around them, the bodies of the assassins lay still and quiet. "I felt your memories again," Lyra said softly. "While I was fighting, when I wanted to give up, when the pain was too much, I felt your memory of your mother. I felt how you sat beside her, refusing to leave, even when there was no hope." She looked at him with her changed eyes. "That is what kept me going," she said. "Your stubbornness, your refusal to accept the end. It is inside me now, it is part of me." Did not know what to say, he just nodded. "I spared the leader," Lyra said. "I wanted to kill him. Every part of my mind wanted to finish it, but something stopped me." "What?" Lyra smiled. It was a tired smile, but it was real. "You," she said. "Your voice inside my head, telling me that I did not have to become a monster to defeat monsters." They sat in silence for a long moment. Then spoke. "What happens now?" Lyra looked up at the stars. "Now," she said, "I go home, I face my brother, I take back what is mine." She paused. "But first I need to thank you properly. You saved my life. You gave me something I never knew I needed." "It was just blood," said. "No," Lyra said. "It was much more than that. It was hope. It was fire. It was everything my people have forgotten how to feel." She turned to look at him. "You changed me forever, and I do not know if I should thank you or apologize." "Neither," said. "You do not owe me anything. I helped because you needed help. That is all." Lyra shook her head slowly. "There it is again," she said. "That impossible kindness, that mad human heart." She stood up, offering her hand to help him rise. "Come, let us get back to your ship. We both need rest." Took her hand and stood. Together they walked back across the dust, back to the small cargo ship, back to the only home had. But something had changed. He was not alone anymore. And neither was she. 3 days passed on the nameless moon. Spent most of that time sleeping. His body was weak from the blood loss, and it needed time to recover. Lyra watched over him, bringing him water and food from his own supplies, making sure he was comfortable. It was strange for her. She had never taken care of anyone before. In the Empire, servants did such things. Princesses did not lower themselves to watch over common people. But Lyra was not the same princess she had been before. She felt different now. The human blood inside her changed everything. She felt emotions she had no names for. She noticed things she had never noticed before. The way the light fell through the ship's windows, the soft sound of his breathing when he slept, the small smile on his face when he dreamed of something good. She wondered what he dreamed about. She could feel echoes of his thoughts sometimes, distant and unclear. But dreams were private even with the bond. She did not try to look closer. On the third day, woke up feeling stronger. He sat up in his bed and found Lyra sitting nearby, watching him. "You have been staring at me," he said. It was not a question. "Yes," Lyra admitted. She did not see the point in lying. "I have been trying to understand you." "Understand what?" "Everything." Lyra stood up and walked to the small window of the ship. The dust of the moon stretched out to the horizon. The dark sky showed nothing but stars. "I have lived for 300 years. I have studied every species in the galaxy. I thought I understood how minds work, how hearts work, but you make no sense to me." Got out of bed slowly. His legs were shaky, but they held his weight. He walked to stand beside her at the window. "I am a simple person," he said. "There is not much to understand." Lyra shook her head. "That is not true. You think you are simple because you live a small life. But your heart is not small. Your heart is the largest thing I have ever felt." She turned to look at him directly. "Why did you save me?" she asked. "I have been thinking about this for 3 days. I have felt your memories. I have seen your entire life. And I still cannot understand why you did what you did." Was quiet for a moment. He looked out at the empty moon, at the dust, at the infinite darkness of space. "I already told you," he said. "You were dying, I was here, it was simple." "No," Lyra said firmly. "It was not simple, nothing about it was simple. You found a crashed alien ship. You found a dying princess from an empire you had never heard of. You learned that assassins were coming to kill her, and instead of running, instead of protecting yourself, you gave her your blood. You connected yourself to her forever. She stepped closer to him. That is not simple, she said. That is impossible. No species in the galaxy would do what you did, not without knowing the reward, not without calculating the benefit, not without some reason. Maybe humans are different, said. Yes, you are different. That is what I am trying to understand. What makes you different? What is inside you that makes you act this way? Thought about the question. He had never really thought about it before. He just lived his life. He just did what felt right. He never analyzed it. But Lyra deserved an answer. She had fought 6 assassins because of him. She had chosen mercy because of him. She had changed everything about herself because he had given her his blood. My mother, he said finally, before she died, she told me something. She said that the world is dark and cold and the only way to survive is to make our own light. She said that we cannot wait for others to be kind to us. We have to be kind first. We have to be the light we want to see. He paused, remembering her face. It had been so long ago, but the memory was still clear. I do not know if she was right, he said. The world has not been very kind to me. I have been alone for a long time. Sometimes I wonder if my mother's words were just dreams, just hope with no foundation. He looked at Lyra. But when I found you dying in that ship, I heard her voice again. I felt her hand holding mine like she did when I was a child, and I knew that I could not walk away. I could not leave you in the darkness, because if I did, I would become the darkness myself. Lyra listened without speaking. She felt the truth in his words. Through the bond, she felt the deep sadness inside him, the loneliness that had never really healed. But she also felt something else, a warmth, a light, a fire that refused to die no matter how much cold surrounded it. Your mother was wise, she said softly, and she raised a good son. I do not feel good, said. I feel tired. I feel small. I feel like I have been carrying something heavy for a very long time. You have been, Lyra said. You have been carrying hope for everyone you meet, even when they do not deserve it, even when they do not notice. She took his hands in hers. But you do not have to carry it alone anymore. Looked at their joined hands, her blue skin against his brown skin. It still looked strange. It still felt new. What happens now? He asked. You go back to your empire, you face your brother, you become queen or something, and I go back to carrying cargo across the galaxy. We probably never see each other again. Is that what you want? I do not know what I want. I have never known what I want. I just try to survive each day. Lyra squeezed his hands. I have to go back, she said. You are right about that. I have to face my brother. I have to stop him before he hurts more people. But after that... She paused. For the first time in her long life, she felt uncertain. The emotions inside her were so new, so human, that she did not know how to express them. After that, she continued, I would like you to come to my world, not as a servant, not as a guest, but as an equal, as someone who changed everything for me. Why? Asked. You are a princess, I am nobody, your people will not understand. They will learn to understand, Lyra said. When I tell them what humans are really like, when I tell them that the mad ones are not mad at all, they are just braver than we are, kinder than we are, more human than we could ever be. She smiled at her own words. That sounds strange, does it not, to say that humans are more human, but I do not know another way to describe it. You have something inside you that we lost long ago. Warmth, connection, the ability to care about strangers. And you think I can teach that to your people? I think you already have, Lyra said. You taught me, in a single night, with nothing but your blood and your kindness. If one human can change a princess, imagine what your entire species could do. Did not know how to respond. The idea was too big for him. He was just a cargo pilot. He ate cold rice alone in space. He talked to stars because he had no friends. How could someone like him matter to an entire empire? But Lyra believed it. He could feel her certainty through the bond. She truly thought that humans were special, that he was special. And maybe, just maybe, she was right. "I will think about it," he said. "Coming to your world, being part of something bigger. But first you have to survive. You have to beat your brother. You have to become the ruler your people need." "I will," Lyra said. "I have human fire inside me now. Nothing can stop me." She leaned forward and pressed her forehead against his. It was a gesture, he realized. Something intimate, something meaningful. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving my life, for giving me your blood, for showing me what it means to be human." "I did not show you anything," said. "I just did what anyone would do." "No," Lyra said. "That is where you are wrong. Anyone would not do what you did. Only a human would. Only someone with your mad, beautiful, impossible heart." She pulled back and looked at him with her changed eyes, gold and red together, and human forever joined. "I will send word when I have taken the throne," she said. "I will send a ship to bring you to my world, and I will make sure everyone in my empire knows the name of the human who saved their princess." "I do not need fame," said. "I know, that is why you deserve it." She walked to the door of the ship. Outside, her own vessel waited. The one she had arrived in was destroyed, but one of the assassin ships still worked. She had claimed it as her own. At the door, she turned back one more time. "The bond between us," she said. "It will grow stronger over time. I will feel you even across the stars. Your happiness will be my happiness. Your sadness will be my sadness. We are connected now, forever." "Does that bother you?" he asked. Lyra smiled. It was a warm smile, full of emotions she was still learning to name. "No," she said. "It makes me feel less alone. For the first time in 300 years, I feel like I have someone in the universe who cares about me. Not because of my title, not because of my power, but because of who I am." "I do care," said. "I do not know why. I do not understand the bond or the blood or any of this. But I care about you, Lyra. I hope you win. I hope you become the ruler your people deserve." "I will," she said, "because I have something to fight for now, something to protect, a human who taught me that kindness is not weakness." She stepped through the door and walked across the dust toward the waiting ship. The dark sky stretched above her, full of stars and possibilities. Watched her go. He stood at the door of his small cargo ship, his hand raised in farewell. She did not look back, but she did not need to. Through the bond, he knew she was smiling. And somewhere deep inside him, in a place he had kept locked for many years, a small fire began to burn brighter. Hope. Not the desperate hope of a lonely man talking to stars, but real hope, the hope of someone who had made a difference, who had changed something, who had proven that one person, even a nobody cargo pilot, could matter. Lyra's ship rose into the dark sky, watched until it disappeared among the stars. Then he went back inside his ship, sat down in his pilot chair, and began to plot a course toward the nearest station. He had cargo to deliver, he had a life to live, he had a universe to explore. But now, for the first time, he was not alone. Somewhere across the stars, a princess carried his blood inside her, his memories, his feelings, his stubborn human hope. And she would remember his kindness forever. The bond connected them, not just blood to blood, but heart to heart, soul to soul. Human and cargo pilot and princess, two people who should never have met. But the universe had other plans. And sometimes, the universe knows exactly what it is doing. Smiled as his ship lifted off the nameless moon. For the first time in years, he looked forward to tomorrow. Especially then,